I know he's going to explode. That's what a person close to the suspected Florida school shooter, Nikolas Cruz, warned the FBI last month. The female caller told the tip line she was making the call in case Cruz takes off and just starts shooting places up. The caller added, quote, "Something is going to happen." Manuel Bojorquez has more on the investigation.
Tonight, CBS News has learned 5.5 weeks before the shooting, a woman called an FBI tip line concerned Nikolas Cruz would get into a school and just shoot the place up. She said he had a diminished mental capacity and gave an ominous warning. "You know, it's just so much. I know he's going to explode." It wasn't the only red flag. The woman who took in Cruz and his brother after their mother's death last year called Palm Beach County's 911 in November.
He put the gun in the head of his brother before, so it's not the first time. And he did that to his mom. It's not the first time he put a gun in somebody's head.
There are now investigations at practically every level of law enforcement about potential missed warning signs before the shooting and what happened during. The school's armed resource officer, Deputy Scott Peterson, stayed outside the building where the shooting happened and did not confront the suspect inside as the shooting continued for about 4 minutes, according to the Broward County Sheriff.
I've been a police officer for 30 years.
Records show Peterson had been at Stoneman Douglas High for at least the last 8 years. He met or exceeded all categories of his last employee review, and in 2014 was nominated School Resource Deputy of the Year. The president, who has called for more trained gun-carrying staff at schools, had this to say about him today.
When it came time to get in there and do something, he didn't have the courage or something happened, but he certainly did a poor job.
Superintendent Robert Runcie is also outraged by the deputy's actions.
I was shocked, extremely upset. It's inexcusable.
It's the awful question, right? Could lives have been saved?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those what ifs.
The deputy has not yet spoken publicly and appears to be secluded in his home, guarded by deputies after reportedly getting death threats. Superintendent Runcie warns against blaming anyone but the shooter for what happened.
We need comprehensive solutions. It's not this or that. It's a combination of the above.
The sheriff has now placed a deputy armed with a rifle at every school in the county. Classes are set to resume at Stoneman Douglas High on Wednesday, though officials acknowledge not everyone will be ready to return. Meg?
Manny, the quotes from this tip to the FBI about Nikolas Cruz paint a picture of the disturbing information the Bureau received about the suspected shooter. What do we know about how this tip was handled?
Well, the FBI has said that the tip made it to the call center, but it was then not transferred over to the Miami field office for follow-up. So essentially, just admitting at that point that they dropped the ball on this. And what was not just a one-line tip, right? We're getting information right now that the tip included him mutilating animals, buying weapons with the money from his inheritance. So these were pretty specific things that the FBI call center received that were not acted on.
And Manny, we heard some of Scott Peterson's history at Stoneman Douglas in your piece. What did Peterson know about Nikolas Cruz prior to last week's shooting?
Well, these are all things that are still under investigation at the sheriff's office, but they released documents showing that in at least 2 occasions, the deputy was aware of some sort of threat coming from someone who was alleging that Nikolas Cruz could commit a school shooting or was acting erratically. We do not know at this point what he did with that information that the sheriff's office said he received, and that's all part of the ongoing investigation into his actions at the school. Even though he is no longer there, he's resigned and retired, that investigation will continue.
And finally, Florida Governor Rick Scott announced a plan Friday to improve school safety. What exactly is he proposing?
He's talking about several things, including background checks, raising the age of buying a gun to 21, and also bringing more officers, armed officers, into the schools, about 1 for every 1,000 students. Of course, the big question there is, will the legislature go ahead and approve these measures? And you're also talking about a lot of money if you're going to add more school resource officers. That remains to be seen. The superintendent did tell me that more officers would be a good thing.
All right, Manuel Bojorquez in Parkland, Florida. Manny, thank you.
Thank you.